Hey guys, no video for our nature and environment in Japan playlist. So these water reservoirs are really common in Japan. They serve a number of purposes. Probably the two most important purposes would be, one is flood mitigation, because obviously in the rainy season we get a lot of rain. The aptly named rainy season sees very, very heavy rainfall in Japan. So part of the flood mitigation to sort of lower the incidence of flooding, they have these huge reservoirs to collect all the water. The other important purpose, of course, is the rice fields. So quite often these big reservoirs are used to water the rice fields. So a couple of the other benefits of them are, of course, it's really good for the nature. So in this case, it's actually under a big highway. So the people going across at the top wouldn't even be aware that it's here. But down here is this beautiful place full of ducks and birds and all sorts of things. Fish, probably. Quite often you see at these things, you'll see guys fishing. Some of these places you're allowed to, some of them you're not. And quite often, if you are allowed to fish, it's usually a catch and release type thing. So it's a case by case. This is a particularly nice one. So they go to a bit of trouble. I mean, obviously it's the practical purposes for these things, but they also do go to a bit of trouble because it's usually city land. Usually they put a bit of a park around as well. Not always, but quite often. And it becomes a bit of a recreational area. So quite often they're sort of like an oasis because they're surrounded by usually fairly high density housing or high density buildings, with not a lot of greenery and not a lot of open space. So when you come across one of these, it's like an oasis of nature. It's really nice. The birds and the trees and the bees and the flowers and the butterflies and all that sort of stuff. All that good nature stuff. A little oasis of nature. So these things and the temples and the shrines are the most common places to find little forests of trees, because they're areas that are protected. So obviously baseball field down there. Baseball field, they also have the old folks come down and play gate ball really regularly. It seems like every day. So they do get good use. And then you've got people obviously coming down for walks and running around, joggers and Tai Chi groups, all sorts. So this one's a bit more isolated. This is away from the residential area, out in the fields above the rice fields. So this is a classic example of one that's used to water rice fields. Oh, this one's huge. It's part of a sporting complex. So you can see the spotlights up the top there for the field, sports field. And then down here they've got quite a huge lake. You can see that thing where the bridge is there? That's where the water is released. It goes down underneath that bridge, down a big hole into a big pipe. And then from there it goes off to the rice fields. And the rice fields, as we showed you before, they have big, like a fire hydrant, which is amazing in spring. It's like all the rice fields become like giant baths, and they turn on the big fire hydrants and fill them up like a giant bath. We've showed you that sort of thing before. It's amazing. And this is where the water comes from. Ducks, no shortage of ducks in Japan. So they're great, aren't they? The water reservoirs, little havens of nature. Anyway, there was that. More videos coming soon.